Okay, so now we're getting into the rinse and repeat portion of lessons, where we're just going to basically be doing the same thing for many of lessons over and over and over again. But I'll walk you through it anyway, so you have a reference for when I'm not there, or if you're doing it at home, etc. So first things first, go to your web notes page. Mine is under assignment 6. You might want to create multiples, as you don't want to you may not want to deal with what I'm dealing with. But anyway, so now, because the other day we used Notepad as an app to open this, now you'll see Notepad on there. So the first time you do it, you won't have to do it again. So that's, like I said, rinse and repeat. So we're going to select Notepad. Our Notepad is open. And actually I want to keep this in a smaller window so we can still see lesson 3 behind it. So we have the HTML code for an unordered list. That's what UL stands for, unordered list. So we're going to copy that, Control C. Now this is going to go underneath our HR tag, or our horizontal rule. But I'm going to show you something real quick. Okay, so if I just add the unordered list here, and then I hit File, Save. Now we got to go back to our thing, because I want this to open in Google. So right click on it and also open with Google, so you can see it in your browser. So if you see, as I did here, the horizontal rules here, I did not have to add a line break for the unordered list. So unordered lists are a lot like paragraphs. It is just assuming that you want the list on the next line. So usually you would. You're not going to start a list in the middle of a sentence. That's weird. And your list is always going to have spaces. So that's what this is doing. Unordered list, it's creating an unordered list. List item, that's what LI stands for. You got red, yellow, blue. Because it's unordered, you get bullets. So now we'll go to the ordered lists. That's what OL stands for. Hit Control Copy. And we'll put our ordered list right underneath our unordered list. So we'll save that. Come over here, refresh. Now you see 1, 2, 3. So that's an ordered list. Now you notice it still says list item. It did not ask for the number. So it automatically puts 1, 2, 3 because you're ordering the list. That's the difference between UL and OL. Pretty simple stuff. So you got your font tag, okay? So now your font tag is probably going to be one of your biggest editing tags. You're going to do a lot with font. So here you see font size, and here you see different typefaces, okay? And then here you see different font colors, okay? So I'm not going to go through each one. I want you to go through each one. I want you to practice getting each one of these on here, okay? So if you see, it'll say font size, font face, font color, okay? So let's first copy each one. So Control Copy. You have your font size. Control V, right? So font size 2, this is font size 2. So we say File, Save, come over here, we hit refresh. This is font size 2. Now notice font size 2 is smaller than what we have here. That's because the default size is 3. Usually 3 is what the internet deals with. So if I hit refresh, bam, now it's the same size as everything else. So I'm going to say this is a size 3 font because we want to be able to read it. Okay. If we go back to the lesson, now we're not going to mess with font font size anymore, because obviously if I add a bigger number, it'll give me bigger font sizes. So here's 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 7. You can go up to 100, and that'll take up like your whole page. Okay, if you want to play with that, you go ahead. So now here it says font face. Now I want you to recognize that this is all underneath the font code. So we do not need to add a separate one that says font face. So we're going to use the same code. So I'm going to take the part that says face, okay, and I'm going to say control copy, and I'm going to bring that over, and I'm going to put it in with the size, because this is all the same thing. So now you're saying font size 3, font face Comic Sans. So let's save that and watch the font as I hit refresh. It changed. So that's how you're going to do that, and we're going to add to the sentence. This is a font size, this is size 3 font in Comic Sans. Actually, let's uppercase that. Comic Sans face. Okay. So now here's where you're going to play, right? Go back to the lesson. Okay, here's where you're going to play. I want you to do one for each one. So you got Comic Sans MS, Comic Sans MS. Okay, I want you to do Arial, Lucida, Times New Roman, Verdania, Helvetica, Impact. Sorry, not Empatica. Helvetica and Impact. Okay, so create one. So you're going to have one that says font face 3. Okay, you're just going to, I'll show you exactly how to do this. You're going to control copy the whole thing. Control copy, right? Now I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit control V. Obviously, I'm just going to change the Comic Sans part. Okay, so this is how we properly use computers. So let's go with, I'm going to go with Helvetica, because I like Helvetica. I'm not doing all of them. I'm just going to do Helvetica. So you're going to copy this where it says Helvetica, right? Now, obviously, we've changed the face. So we're going to change that from Comic Sans to Helvetica face. Okay, so I'm going to hit File, and I'm going to hit Save. Come back over here, hit Refresh. Now, what did I forget? I forgot the line break. You do need a line break for each new line now, because this is just messing with the font. So make sure, and I'm going to add one here because I don't want to have to do it later. So just add a line break at the end of every line that's not a paragraph or ordered list. So, or list period. So now here we go. So I did that correctly, right? So go back to your lesson, right? You're going to do that for each one. When you have done that, okay, pick your favorite one, okay? So like I said, my favorite is Helvetica. I did that on purpose. So now I'm going to copy this, control copy, and yes, I'll keep my line break copied too, and hit control V. So I'm keeping Helvetica, right? And now we're going to pick a color. Okay, so the color is not going to be fuchsia, because I'm not a big fan of fuchsia. So fuchsia is this pinkish color. I'm going to go with purple because HMS, and purple is our color. So let's roll with that. So like I said, we just add it right on the end. Okay, font size 3, face Helvetica, color, we're going to change it to purple. Okay, in Helvetica face, and in Helvetica face, purple color. It doesn't really need to be said that it's in a purple color, but why not, right? So, because it's going to show up in purple, so we'll know it's purple. But there it is, in purple. Okay, so this is font size size 3 font and Helvetica face, purple color. Okay, but you'll have one for every color. So I'm picking my favorites, purple, Helvetica. But you'll have all of them. Then you'll pick your favorite font and do all the colors in that font, or you could do a different font. I mean, you go crazy, but the assignment here is to get all the fonts and all the colors. Okay, so your web notes should have every color, every font, so you have practice messing with it. But also so that way when it comes time to use the color, you have it. So you won't have to search for the code or change the code or whatever. You'll have all the available colors. These are the colors that are available in name. So if you say red, green, blue, violet, purple, fuchsia, gray, etc., 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 those are the colors that will come up if you say those things, if you write those things. There is another way to do color to get a shades of color, but I will show you that in a later tutorial, later lesson. Alright,